Hello everyone, welcome to this discussion on youth and urban mobility. The first topic that we're going to be discussing today is a question brought by Floor from Youth and Road Safety.
Hi, my name is Floor Lieshout and I am the director at yours, Youth for Road Safety.
Well, the first question that I had was about road traffic injuries. As you might know, road traffic injuries are the biggest killer of young people globally, and it kills, for example, more young people than malaria, HIV/AIDS, and TBC. Now, that's a very big problem. To improve road safety for young people, we need to do mainly, and I've tried to simplify things, do three things. We need safe vehicles, safe infrastructure, and safe road users. And to achieve that, we need all stakeholders involved. We need the private sector involved, we need governments involved, we need the society at large involved. Now, because we are the main victims, young people, I think that we should be part of the solution as well. So my question is, how can young people contribute to improve road safety? And then especially for other young people as well.
It's a very good question, and I really believe that young people should be involved in the transport planning, because as a planner engineer, you really have to know which are the challenges and the needs that the young people are facing. And how can you involve them? I think the most effective way would be through the youth organizations, as they have this dialogue already structured. And it can also work in the two ways, because they can also help in really disseminating the information, and as they have the knowledge of how it can affect the young people, and they have this non-formal education and informal learning techniques. So I think by involving them, the youth organization, and also with the engineers and the urban planners, I think it's a good way of starting it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sounds good to me. So what kind of youth organizations do you exactly mean?
For example, as an example, we have the European Youth Forum.
Yeah.
That I think is the biggest organization in Europe.
Yeah.
And they already have this structured dialogue.
Yeah.
That when they consult young people and also the authorities, yeah, and they can really decide what's best for everybody and how you can act more efficiently.
Yeah. And you think also just in urban planning or in other areas as well?
Well, perhaps I would have a bit of a question. You talked about 3 points: safe vehicles, safe infrastructure, and safe road users. But well, I do suppose that the vehicles and the infrastructure are the same for everyone. So if you say that there's a big problem with young people, specifically, and I suppose specifically young males, then I would suggest that there's a problem with young males, right?
Yeah. Well, there is a big problem with young males. Exactly. Yeah. It's a 1 to 4. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, I'm obviously not the expert, but it seems to be a mentality problem as well. I mean, young guys like speeding, drink driving. It's we're the cool guys. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. What we know from road safety, what we know is that if we would improve road safety for all road users, young people will benefit the most. So if we would have, for example, a law on seatbelts and we would enforce it, then young people will benefit the most. So we should still do all the things for all road users. Now, I do believe that young people need a different approach, and that young people need to be involved in that. Especially for young males, I think we should have specific awareness campaigns to educate them and to make sure that they are aware about the risks. I'm not saying we should only do that. We still should do enforcement and all the other things, safe infrastructure and safe vehicles. But for young males, for example, there are many awareness campaigns that are trying to be appealing for a specific area. So to answer a bit your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I have a question. Speaking of that, so to the young males in the audience,
quite a few of us.
Has there been a campaign on road safety that has had any impact on you?
I don't think so.
No?
I'm more concerned about how you design the city to make not necessary the use of private car, and like as you read in your report, maybe the worst case of traffic accidents it's for pedestrians and people who cycle that most of them are young. And it's like maybe it would be better to address this issue.
Okay, well, what about you? Has there been a campaign that has struck you?
I think the campaigns that they have a higher impact are those that you see the crash accidents and you see what really can happen. And because maybe after you may forget about it, but at the moment it really make you think, okay, maybe if I don't use a seatbelt, that's what's going to happen to me. If I'm using a mobile phone. So, and sometimes it's something you do usually and you're not aware. You just forget the danger that's causing.
But I have to say one thing. That it's not just about the driver, it's about the externality of the accident. And I think that all those campaigns are wrongly focusing on the driver and which are the consequences for the driver. But we have to be aware that if we are driving in this kind of speedy way in the city, it's very dangerous for other people. And that's the point.
It's funny that what you said, by the way, about the showing the crash and showing the bloody image. There's a big debate in road safety land about that, if that's really that effective. And I strongly believe more in showing and rewarding young people for good behavior. And because if you would do that, then I think as a young person, I think you will look away. And our brains are programmed like that we look away the other way, and that we react like in a way, well, that will never happen to me because I'm a good driver, or a good road user. Well, there are very good campaigns, by the way, in Europe. For example, here in Belgium and in Holland as well, you probably know the BOP campaign, and that's a campaign against drunk driving, and to reward the designated driver, and that absolutely influenced the social norm about drunk driving. And I think that that's a very positive campaign that we can learn a lot from, and that absolutely changed society at large. Because right now, I'm not sure about your friends, but if a good friend of mine would drive and he would be drunk, then I would probably get his keys and get a taxi for him, because it's no longer allowed to socially.
Interesting point, but then from what I gather, and I'm curious to see what you think, you have risky behavior from young people, or from some young people, and it seems like it's just a natural part of who they are. So what can we do? Wouldn't it be better perhaps to make it physically impossible for them to get into accidents, or reduce the possibility? So for instance, have automated speed limits that stop people from going too fast, or like automatic braking, and perhaps even like driverless cars. What do you think?
For me, okay, I have 3 examples of 3 campaigns that I think are really good in Latin America.
We have a minute and a half just.
Yeah, okay. We have in Argentina, there's a really cool thing. I have here an image. There are like the stars in the street that when people is dead in a car accident, there is a star.
Okay.
So when you are driving, you see the star. So it's not shocking, but it's something that
reminds you.
Yeah, reminds you. Also on the zebra, when you are passing through the lights, it's also really good. So you know that there's something can happen there, and there already someone that passed away. So it's very important. Also, we have a really cool idea that is the chosen driver. So for example, if you are going out with your friends, one of those have to drive and cannot drink in the night.
Okay.
So you are in charge of taking your friends
responsible
to their
for your
house.
friends. Yeah.
There's a cool, very, very cool campaign of that. So
cool.
Okay, so a lot of interesting issues. Thank you very much for that. We are going to wrap up this round and go on to the next one.